Hey everybody, Jason here with the Landlord Launch, where we help landlords self-manage their property through landlord workshops, through on-demand training, and then also by providing resources, access to resources, and support services. Today what we're going to talk about is one of the questions that I ran across in one of the groups that I'm in, which I thought was a really good question, especially for new landlords. And the question was, what are the four top things to consider before becoming a landlord? And that actually had me intrigued. So because I've been in it for so long, I was thinking to myself, what would I want to know? What would I tell myself? What would I want myself to think about if I were to talk to me 20 some odd years ago? And so that's what this video today is about, those items, that I guess those words of wisdom, at least from my perspective. There's a lot of great answers out there, and I think they're all valid, but these are the ones that I came up with. So and actually there's going to be 5 for me. There was one extra one on there that I thought was important. I just couldn't leave out. So the first one is really to know what your motivations and your risk tolerance is. This is what I think with the house flipping revolution and all those things, and I don't know how often I hear get rich quick in terms of real estate, but just the whole get rich quick in general movements that are out there. I think a lot of times people think, oh, well, if I can get this house flipped or whatever else. I think a lot of times what happens is that kind of bleeds over into owning rental property. Now, rental property, I believe, is one of the very few surefire ways to build wealth. But the thing is, it's a long haul deal. And you got to be able to understand that there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs, and that over a long enough period of time you will be successful if you do the right things, but there's still going to be bumps along the road. So you got to kind of know what your own risk tolerance is. If you have very thin skin and it freaks you out every time something goes wrong, this may be a tough line of business for you, because that's what property management is solving problems. Things go wrong, things aren't going to go smooth, you are going to have bad tenants no matter how well you screen. You're going to have tenants to destroy something in your home, you're going to have tenants to destroy your entire home. But you're also going to have very good tenants. You're going to have tenants to pay their rent on time, and you're going to have a lot of successes. And over the long haul, it is worth it. But that is the key: is that it is a long haul deal. So I would say would be the first thing: is one, know your risk tolerance, understand it's a long haul deal, and make sure that your motivations are for the long term and not the short term. If you're looking for something 15, 20 years down the road to be there for you, something you can build, something you can rely on, it's a very good path to include as part of your overall strategy. Second part of that, buy right. Purchase the home right. Don't go just throwing money at anything. If you don't know what you're doing, work with somebody who does. Find a mentor, find a real estate agent that does a lot of investment property type transactions, because they're going to have tools, they're going to be able to give you guidance on things that you can do to maximize the dollars that you're spending in your investment property. They're going to be able to give you information about the areas that you're purchasing and the rents that you can charge for those, things along those lines. So especially if you're new, find somebody with experience and have them help you along the way. And buying right is an essential component of that, because let's just get real extreme here. But let's say you invest money in a property, and let's just say your mortgage is $2,000 a month. Mortgage, taxes, interest, $2,000 a month. But you've bought a home in an area that doesn't command more than $1,000 a month. Well, you're already upside down right before you even get going. That means you either got to put more money down, you got to get better financing terms, or it's just not a good fit for your strategy. So I would say that in this particular deal, as you're working with that mentor, that real estate professional, also figure out what your strategy is. Develop what your framework is. How much cash flow do you need? Where do you need these numbers to sit? Have that all lined out. So then what happens is you have your framework and you go out and you start finding deals. And if a deal fits that framework, well, that's one you can explore. And if it doesn't, you get it right out of there, because again, it doesn't make any sense to step into a long-term investment where you're losing money right out of the gate. Because again, things are going to go wrong. You need to have that buffer in there. So yeah, work with somebody that knows what they're doing and build up your strategy through that. Number 3 here, know your laws. So there are landlord-tenant laws that will affect the way that you operate. There are going to be things that you will be forced to do as a landlord that maybe you don't want to do. So for example, let's say that you do not want pets. Well, in some areas, you don't have a choice. It's pets are protected class, for a lack of better words, and you have to accept pets. Maybe you don't want to work with Section 8. Well, in some states or some cities, income is a protected class, so you have no choice, and you have to work with Section 8. So know the jurisdiction that you're dealing with. Make sure you understand your laws. I have a resource here I will pop in, and it's basically a list of state landlord-tenant laws, and it's again, it's a resource site out there. It's Turbo Tenant for this particular one. Avail has one. Apartments.com has one as well. But I will work that link into this video as well. And that gives you access to all the landlord-tenant laws in all the states, along with some other resources too. It's extremely helpful. So know your laws. I know it's dry, but understand what you're getting into. Number 4, tenants are not your friends. Well, and as an addition there, don't rent to friends and family. Don't mix that relationship, especially if you value that relationship, because 9 times out of 10, they are not going to respect you and your investment and your stuff, and then you're going to be the first person that they come to when they need a break. And if you can't give them a break, or if you don't want to give them a break, then you're going to be the bad guy, and it's going to run the relationship. I speak from experience. Hopefully you will not have to go through that yourself. Just know that it just really doesn't work. So that aside, again, tenants are not your friends. Don't buy the stories. Keep everything professional. Treat them with respect always, even when things are crazy. Because you never know what they're going through, and you never know how that's going to turn around. But treat them with respect, even in the bad times. Talk to them like adults, like grown-ups. Don't berate them. Don't demean them. Don't get into those petty fights or squabbles. Just keep everything very professional. Simple as, hey, listen, your rent's due on the 1st, or whatever. Your rent's due on the 1st, you haven't paid rent, your late fees are kicking in, and if you do not, here's your notice, your 3-day notice. If you do not pay by here, I have to proceed with eviction proceedings. And then they'll say, well, I got this and this and this. I'm sorry, this is the policies, this is the processes, and if they don't, move forward. It's when we start, I don't want to, it's not that I don't feel bad, and it's not that some of the stories don't move me or whatever else. One, there's a fair housing issue. I need to keep everything consistent, especially when you're working with different houses or apartments or whatever else. But the other thing is I've just found that almost every single time it hasn't been honest. I mean, there's been something, and they're looking to me to help them out with the rent or whatever, but they have other bills that are far less important that are getting paid, and or whatever the case may be. Again, it doesn't really matter to me in terms of that. It's just more along the lines of keep it professional, keep it a business relationship, and treat them with respect, and then things will go on the best courses they can in that way. And even things that get crazy and everything else, it's going to keep you kind of out of trouble, because if they pull you into the drama and the craziness, usually the landlord loses in one way or another. So keep it professional. Tenants are not your friend. Okay, last one, and kind of the bonus deal here is learn how to manage your own property. And here's why I say this. Especially if you have the time and you want to get into this for a while, and learning to manage your own property is going to do a couple things. One, it's going to save you a lot of money. I mean, on average, a management company will probably cost you somewhere around $2,000 to $3,000 a year, and that's before maintenance. That's before your other expenses. That's just management fees, leasing fees, renewal fees. If they take late collections, if they charge you for advertising, whatever it may be, it's pretty standard. $2,000 to $3,000 a year per unit is what a management company is going to ultimately end up costing you. So there's that. If you own the property for 10 years, do the math. I mean, it adds up quick. The other thing on that is that if you ever get to a point to where you do want to use a management company, well, you will be able to tell very quickly whether or not that management company is doing the right things, has your best interests at heart, because you know what it looks like to manage a property. And so if things start getting weird and they start throwing some stories that don't quite add up, then you're going to be able to recognize that quickly, get involved, make a change if you have to, and again, save a lot of damage potentially that management company could do before it gets out of hand. Because again, just because we're a management company, just because we're a licensed broker doesn't always mean that they know what they're doing. There's a lot of, just like anything else, there's good and there's bad, and your ability to recognize that is important. So that's it. That's what I have for my top 5 bonuses. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll go on and leave that link probably in the description as well to that turbo tenant for all the landlord tenant law resources. Thank you once again for watching. This is Jason, the Landlord Launch, and we will see you next time.